At the top of the black lighthouse, Liora Nightshade faced a choice that could either free the dead or give grief a body again. Hours earlier, on a moonless coast, she arrived to find a lighthouse burning that had been dead for 13 years. Even before she reached the tower, Liora felt what the sea had hidden there: salt, stone, and the weight of old sorrow. At the door stood Cale Marin, a young keeper who looked as if he had been surviving the same nightmare for years. He did not ask why Liora had come. He only moved aside, as though he had known someone would. Inside, the tower was lined with lanterns, and each one held more than light. In the glass, Liora saw faces, hands, and fragments of final moments clinging to life after death. Then Cale lifted a single lantern unlike the rest, one glowing with impossible human warmth. It carried the last memory of his mother, not her life, but the final feeling of being loved by her. A song rose from above, and the sea answered by shaping itself into a woman made of water and mourning. The spirit gave Liora no attention at first. Her gaze remained fixed on Cale and the lantern he could not release. As Liora studied the runes in the stone, she understood that the lighthouse was not waking on its own. It was being fed. The tower ran on exchange. The dead were sustained by memories taken from the living. Cale had already paid dearly: childhood rain, his father's voice. Even pieces of his own joy had been poured into that amber light. Liora saw the trap clearly then. One memory had become so bright that it was devouring the life around it. This lighthouse did not preserve love. It imprisoned the sharpest edge of loss and called it mercy. When Liora looked deeper, she saw the Tide Bride had once been human too, a woman so long trapped by grief that even her own name was gone. Then the eclipse began, and the entire tower woke, as if it had been waiting for this night alone. Far below, pale forms moved beneath the black water, drawn upward by the promise of return. But Liora understood the truth. What the lighthouse offered was not life, only a hollow shape built from memory. Still clutching his mother's final warmth, Cale climbed toward the crown of the tower, and Liora followed. At the top waited the final chamber, a stone seat beneath the great lens, where the last lantern would complete the ritual. Liora planted her staff and sent blue runes across the floor, preparing to break the tower if she had to. Cale stood before the pedestal and looked one last time into the only memory he had left of his mother. Liora did not fight him with force. She asked him to see that love had never lived inside the glass. In that moment, Cale understood that he had been preserving a shadow while losing himself around it. So instead of placing the lantern into the ritual seat, he smashed it against the stone. The amber light burst free, and the rising dead stopped beneath the sea, as though the spell had lost its heart. Liora seized that instant and drove her power into the tower's lens, sending release through every captive lantern. One by one, then all at once, the trapped final memories shattered free and rose toward the sky. As the lights passed through her, The Tide Bride finally saw what she had become. Someone held too long by sorrow to remain herself. She broke apart into quiet points of light, and the black lighthouse went dark forever. When the silence returned, Cale could no longer see his mother's face clearly, but he could still feel the truth she had left behind. Liora and Cale descended through an empty tower, where the air no longer trembled with the dead. Outside, dawn turned the cursed coast back into a coastline, and the lighthouse into only stone. Liora walked on as the last freed lights climbed into the morning sky, carrying what had finally been allowed to rest.